but she literally says, "What are you?"
Yeah.
Good question, Amy. Good question. What the fuck is she? She
Yeah.
about to be Faye.
Welcome back to the Book Reading Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam. And this week we are looking at chapters 44 and 45 of ACOTAR. These chapters are the penultimum chapters. They are the ones where we're at the last trial or the last task. Feyre gets a little stabby with Tamlin.
She does.
Amarantha gets real pissed. There is some fighting and breaking of bones. She breaks the riddle. And then we get to watch her die.
We do.
Yeah.
We're going to watch a bitch die this episode.
Finally. Yeah.
Yes. Or, as you might theorize, we're going to watch a bitch drop.
Yes, we are. Yeah, because that's the theory that this was her ordeal. This was Feyre's ordeal. And
Rhys being the tether?
And that Rhys is the tether, her mate bond is the tether, and that Feyre makes the drop. Of course, making connections to the drop that happens in Crescent City. So, yes. I mean, I have things underlined. I don't necessarily have notes here. I do have, like, when she finally stabs Tamlin and, like, the dagger hits the thunk sound of the stone around his heart, that Rhys and at the foot of the dais grins from ear to ear. He's like, fuck
yes,
my baby girl figured it out.
Well, actually, my first thing I noticed was that it said his heart was hard and unyielding.
Of course it is. Yeah, even
it
without the stone, that's Tam's heart.
Yeah. And then, yes, Rhys is just like, hell yeah, she did it. We're good. And he's like, oh, it's almost like interesting because shouldn't he be a little more suspicious of Amarantha? He got excited. He was like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't have been. And yeah, that was a little sad when he was still happy. Amarantha climbed to her feet. What does that mean? Was she just like climbed to her feet?
I think it means she like stood up. Oh, she's probably sitting on her throne.
For some reason I pictured her like she got kind of thrown backwards and was like, I don't know, like it was very gremlin. It was a weird visual. But yeah, and then the murmuring, very classic, like, you know, when the and
people are yelling out already, she won, free them.
Yeah.
Like immediate turn.
Yeah.
So when they say free them, she says, I'll free them whenever I see fit. Feyre didn't specify when I had to free them, just that I had to at some point, perhaps when you're dead. Mm-hmm. And then Jurian does a weird eye winky thing, right? His pupil dilating and shrinking. He's like trying to Morse code. And then she says, I'll kill you. And I'm wondering, is she able to still kill Feyre? Because there's no part of the bargain that it said that she can't hurt Feyre. But I thought that was part of it, right? You have to let us go, all of us, like not immediately, but you have to let us go. Or was it let them go?
Yeah, but she didn't specify let me go alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wrote, how can she do this? But I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess she can.
Also, I didn't like the this, speaking of exposition, you assumed that when I said instantaneous freedom regarding the riddle, it applied to the trials too, did you? Foolish, stupid human. I would have cut that line.
Yeah.
But we do not need it. We get it.
Because she's already said it.
It's a weird piece of dialogue.
Well, and she also already thought that. She was like, oh, maybe this will be the loophole that she, like, I hope that she doesn't use this loophole. We already know that this is the loophole she's going to use.
Yeah. Although I still think, dude, if she had just said the answer to the riddle, she wouldn't have this problem at all.
Yes. Oh,
it's crazy. She just let the riddle sit there and simmer. Yep. Like it's awesome.
Something far more violent than lightning struck me. Yes. That's interesting.
What does that mean? far like, I don't know, there's just it's interesting, we've never really heard Amarantha I don't think we've ever seen Amarantha use her power. She's
Mm-mm.
always telling other people, like, telling Rhys to do something. This is the only time we really see her power, and I was just like, "This is very interesting," like, I don't know
It
what this is.
reminds me of I don't want to keep making these comparisons, but it reminds me of the King of Adarlan's power when he
Mm,
is infiltrated by a valg. Now, it also reminds me of Rhysand's power because it's like this darkness, these shadows that crawl up behind the king, and then he blasts his power.
mm.
But like Dorian's power also comes in these like torrents and waves.
Yeah.
It says, I was crushed beneath another wave of torturous agony.
Yeah, it says wave a couple times too. It also there is a part where it says she has a white light, I think when she hits Rhys,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Starborn?"
Yeah, let's hope
I
not.
don't think so, but maybe she's just using the part of, Helion's part that is the original Starborn power embedded into ACOTAR.
It could
Just kidding.
be. Um, although, I mean, Aelin's power, her wildfire manifests as like blue at first
Mhm,
and turns white. Dorian's power, I think, it has a white light to it. Healers have white
mhm.
light.
Yeah, but I just
Um,
thought it was an
but
interesting
I also
like,
think that
there's a force.
it could also just be a choice because, like,
Yeah,
like, what are you going to be like? I mean, she could have said crimson light. That would have kind of worked. But because we know
mhm,
that there's connections, you're like, who the fuck is this broad?
yeah. Well, any white light magic I am noting. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
Lucien has a
Mhm.
white light in Miss and Fury, and I'm like wondering about it.
Yeah.
Um, because
Um,
he's Autumn Court, so that would be a real tie. Um, also, I never realized how violent this part was because it's kind of written very passively,
yeah.
or it's not kind of, it's very passive. My very bones were shattering as my body rose and then slammed on the hard floor. It's not attaching this to Amarantha. I mean, it's definitely Amarantha. I'm not
Mhm.
saying, oh, who's doing this? Like, but I just mean like, why? That's a very usually in a scene like this, a writer wants to emphasize the suffering because that's the most that's the scary part. Like that's
Yeah.
like, oh, she's about to die. So I don't know if that's just like a I don't know if there's a reason for that or if it's just like kind of random, but like there's a lot of passivity. If you read through this line, like, yeah, my bones were shattering. And even it says like, yeah, I was being apart from the inside, like
Yeah.
all
It
this
sounds
stuff.
like she's manipulating her insides.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I mean, yes, she's getting hit with waves and, like, she's being, like, lifted and
Hmm.
slammed back down, but it also sounds like there's something going on inside her body where, like, the magic is in her body,
It's
which,
interesting.
I mean, Valg don't necessarily manifest that same way, but they do manipulate the mind and make you
Yeah.
like, relive all of your bullshit. Um,
Yeah. And there is a moment of that too.
yeah,
Uh um But yeah, I was just struck by the passivity because I didn't remember the scene. I thought that actually in my memory, I thought she just cracked her spine and that's when she
yeah,
died. I didn't realize she beat the shit out of her first two.
yeah.
Um, and then okay, why do you think Reese is screaming her name? I know it's like it's a classic moment, but like, what is that gonna do? Why wasn't he saying, uh, "Hey, there's a fire"? Or like why isn't he saying Amarantha's
I
name?
think
Why
this
isn't he
is
doing
his
something
fear
else?
taking over. I don't think
He's
that
just like
there's
shrieking out of like fear. Okay.
yeah. Well, because so when in Throne of Glass, it's in the scene where I think it's Queen of anyways, because I just switched over, so I can't remember. It's when Aelin and Manon first have their little tiff or whatever, and um Asterin goes to shoot Aelin, and Rowan takes
Mm,
the arrow for her.
yeah.
She's screaming Rowan's name, and the only reason why she saves Manon, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but when Rowan asks her, "Why did you go back for the witch? Why did you save her?" She said, "Because that witch Asterin screamed her name the way that I was screaming your name, and I can't take someone who
Mm.
means as much as you mean to me away from somebody else." And
Mm.
so and that was the mate bond, right? Like that's when she knows that he's her mate because the next moment when she's talking to Kale, when Rowan is healing, she's like, they tried to kill my Rowan. They tried to kill Rowan. And she knows right then and there that that's her mate. And so I think, and that's after she's already done this other thing that I'm going to talk about, that she has an inclination that it's her mate and not just her Carranam. But I think that like when your mate is in trouble, you like that screaming of their name, that like everything else is shut out, and it's just that fear of like, I'm going to lose them.
Mhm.
And he
Okay.
says, right, in chapter 54 in the next book, he does say, like, I was so scared. Like, it was the most scared I've ever been.
Yeah. I was just like, I was sort of picturing it, and I was like, I don't know. I guess I would shout like at like Amarantha. I'd be like, "Hey, look over here!" like, but
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, I don't know. Like,
I
or
think
because I
it's
just picture
supposed
it like, what is that gonna do?
I think it's
But
supposed to
yeah,
be I think it's supposed to be one of those foreshadowing, hinting moments that
yeah.
that's her mate.
Definitely, but I
Because
always
yeah,
wanted to like double as like it makes sense. But I do like, it name the name like whether or not people are nameless, but like names play a huge role. So it
yeah.
is a very like at the moment it
Well,
matters he's screaming her name.
and I think one of the reasons why it's supposed to be a foreshadow and not necessarily just a make sense moment is because it says yelled it as though he cared. So the
Yes.
reader is supposed to realize, like, oh, there's something happening there. And then you start to like put together these other moments when people scream out someone's name is because of these really, possible mate bonds and really strong connections.
Yeah. I did not
Um,
pick up on that when I was reading it, but yes, it is
Again,
very
I probably wouldn't either, but that's just because I'm also rereading Throne of Glass right now. So it's
true.
fresh.
Um,
Rhys goes to pick up the dagger on the next page.
yeah, so she's
This
like,
is after
you're
we talked about on the last episode where she says, "What are you but mud and bones and worm meat?" And we connected that to
that's
her
right.
putting those clothes back on her.
Yeah.
I saw Rhys crouching by Tamlin, not to help him, but to grab the. Um, and then, of course, we know it's the ash dagger.
Yes.
And then she lifted a hand, not even bothering to look, and he was blasted back by a wall of white light.
That's the moment where I was like,
So now
Starborn?
this could be damning. Okay.
Um, for him being valg, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because what if Amarantha's power is healing power?
What what if Amarantha's power is healing power?
What if it's
Like her
healing?
natural power?
Her natural power is healing power, and she just blasted him with healing power, and it blasts him back. Because healing power, the healers are who take out the valg.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Well,
could be really damning.
I will say, her natural power seems to be dark power because
Yeah.
after she's, when she's up against Tamlin, it's like says something about her dark, whatever, something like that. It's described as darkness or something. So I don't know if it's a natural power, but I like okay. My one of my like we're kind of out there crackpot theories is that um the Starborn line was not like forgotten in Prithian. It was
Yeah.
integrated in secret or like it was hidden within what I personally think like Daycourt. That's why Lucien has like the white light. And also it kind of, day and night. It's the opposite. It kind of
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Um and so he could say, I have daylight when he really has Starborn light, or he has day court magic and Starborn magic within his court. So, because I just think, I forget, I'm actually like forgetting the purpose of Starborn, but like, I just feel like they're not going to let that power, like, oh,
Yeah.
because they oppose the Daglet, the Asteri.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like instead of like getting rid of that power, instead of having a court that features it, they're like this line will just be carried on type of thing.
Mhm.
And I kind of think that Lucien is going to tie into Starborn shit.
That'd
He's
be cool.
Autumn. He's Helion's son. He already has some things that make me interested. I don't know. That's my like,
Well,
out there theory, but mostly because I just think they would never let Starborn bloodline die out.
yeah, no, they're not going to let
Yeah.
that die out for sure. I think we're supposed to think it's night court stuff because Starborn and stars, but I think you might be onto something with like day or dawn.
Yeah, or because it needs to be like a counter. It's like I know the star
Mhm.
is within the light, although actually yin yang is like they're kind of
Yeah.
within each other.
Mhm.
And I okay now my other theory is that Feyre, or it doesn't even have to be a separate theory, it could go with it. Feyre's actually maybe she wasn't Fey, but she's Starborn.
Yeah.
Um, because she has some interesting moments too, and a lot of the lines that could work for her, like where it says her blood knows, it could actually be her Starborn heritage,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily mean that she's Fey, right? Because
Well, and then the
Rhys
bone
gets it.
carver says that there's an old fae that
Yes.
whose lineage is now probably long gone in the humans.
Yeah.
That would have been his salvation. I also have a theory about the bone carver being the sin eater god from Throne of Glass,
The
but
truth
that
god?
is no. Well,
Oh,
I guess yeah.
I
I
thought
mean,
you
the
said it
god
was
of
the
truth.
same.
Yes, the god of truth, but he's a sin eating god, and his temple is made out of fucking bones that people
Yeah.
carve their sins into. And I'm like, that's so bone carvery. That's
You know
ridiculous.
who else has a bone everything, including a bone throne? I think it's a bone throne. I could be now I'm doubting myself. I'm pretty sure Hybern does. He is described with bones a lot.
He is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some weird stuff there too.
Yeah.
I um I think that the light and dark, I want to start kind of looking
Yes.
at places because Aelin and Dorian are constantly kind of
Are they
they're
described
taught
as opposites like
well,
that?
they're described like that in one of the books where, and I can't remember which one because again, I'm in reading in three different ones right now. But there's like, the star to the night, or he was the darkness and the stardust, and she was the fire and the light, and has this light, dark, night, day situation. Then we
Mhm.
also have Feyre and Rhysand, who it's like, night eternal and star whatever, blah blah
Mhm.
blah, whatever that bullshit is. So it's like the stars in the night, and she lights up his darkness. But then
Yeah.
we also have Rune and Lydia, who's literally day and night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have these like constant balancing between these. Now, two of those are mates,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that it has to be specifically for mates. I think it could be
No.
for the people who are going to come into play at the end with balance of sorts.
Yeah, and also you could argue that if fate makes mate bonds, fate definitely had a role in Aelin and Dorian,
Yeah.
like in their
Well, and
dimension. So
Aelin
it doesn't.
and
Maybe it's just fate bonds, and sometimes those are often mate bonds.
Aelin and Dorian, if I mean, I will double check and cite my sources later, but I'm almost certain that so when they're fighting um the dad on the bridge, when they're fighting the Valg, their powers connect. And that's when she realizes like his power is infinite. And
Mm.
Rowan is like, you are crazy for like connecting your power to his, because he could have burnt you out so fast. His power is infinite. So they're Carranams. Like they can
Yeah,
feed into
Aelin
each other's
and
power.
yeah.
Aelin and Dorian, they do this twice. They do it when they're on the bridge, and they do it again when they're trying to make the key. They use their magic together. They forge it together. He also forges his magic with Elena, or with Irene, to feed into hers when she's killing
Mm.
Erwin.
So he's
Uh,
carrying on to Irene too.
yeah, and I don't think that it's a specific. It's not like a mate bond where you only have one. It's if your magic is compatible. So
Oh, I thought it was
theoretically,
closer to like a mate bond, but for fighting bros.
kind of, but
Like
I think that the way that it's described is that it's maybe not necessarily where you can do it a lot. And it could be because Dorian has this infinite power that can take on any form, that he has that brute
he could be anyone's
power,
Carranam.
that he has this sort of, he's like the O negative of he's a universal donor of magic.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I mean, him and Aelin bond their magic together, and so you would think that maybe there's something about that bond with how day and night work, and maybe we'll see some more like magic sharing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we are gonna. I think we are. I think it's just the nature of a final battle. We're gonna see some shit like that. Rhys and Feyre are Carranam, right? Because Rhys helped her with the cauldron fixing at the end of ACOTAR.
I do believe so.
And I wonder if okay, just because you said that, because
Doesn't
you're like,
Bryson
bro,
doesn't Bryson Hunt? Don't they do it too? Doesn't he feed her his
oh,
magic?
I'm sure, but I think that's because he's
Oh,
literally
because
made to power
yeah,
her
yeah,
up.
yeah, he powers
He's
her
like
up.
crafted to do that. He's like
Yeah, but still,
a
still some,
synthetic Carranum.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he shocks her with his lightning, right? And she just, like, absorbs that shit.
Yeah, something like
Mhm.
yeah. No, but okay, okay, with Rhys and Feyre, you know what actually happened? And I don't know, just the way you said, I hadn't thought about this, but like technically, Rhys is the one who burns out. Does that mean
Mhm.
that Feyre's power is infinite?
Could be.
That's kind of crazy, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, just because that is what happened. He like burned
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
Um, or maybe he meant whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white light really gets me. I was like, what the
Or
fuck?
that there was word marks all over that place to stifle his magic.
Who? When?
Rhys. Maybe there's word marks all over the King of Highburns to stifle Rhysand's magic. Because doesn't he say like, "Oh, I can't go in because they'll know our mate bond or some shit"? He'll
Oh,
be able to
maybe.
sense me. He has to stay outside for a while.
Well, I was talking about in Akawar when
Oh,
he fixes the cauldron with Feyre and then he
oh, right.
dies.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I was like, he's channeling his magic into her. Maybe she accidentally like like the thing that
yeah,
Rowan was like.
yeah.
I don't know. I
Could
don't
be.
really think so, but well, it's interesting once you. I haven't heard. Completely forgot about that line entirely.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah.
Also, Elena's magic can take any form. I didn't realize that. It says that it can take any form.
Okay.
I always thought it was Gavin, but it's not.
It's
Well, it's
Elena.
Brandon's. I keep forgetting that. I keep reversing Brandon and Gavin. Brandon is Elena's dad,
Yes.
and
Gavin is her
he
husband.
he has like brute strength and brute magic where it can just take on any form.
He has raw magic.
Yeah,
Got it.
and then Mala gives him fire magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know. That gets dicey too. I'm like, I gotta get a little further in that series and start reminding myself of all their fucking powers. But um yeah, so white light.
Uh huh. And
um I like this
Rhys has
line.
twice so far, by the
Sorry,
way.
Rhys has done what? You cut out.
Oh, has yelled her name twice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he will yell it exactly 3 times. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means anything, but I'm noting it. Um, and yeah, the next thing I have is but the pain pause for a second. Oh she looks she doesn't even look back at him. That was like was one of those like movie moments. She just like whatever.
What page are you on?
Um,
Oh, I see. The pain paused for a second long enough for me to see him hit the ground and rise again and lunge for her.
yeah.
His hands now ended in talons.
Yeah. Um,
He slammed into
and
an invisible wall that Amarantha raised around herself. That is a ward like we see the Fae in Throne of Glass do.
not
Gav
like what Tamlin does when he or when what Feyre does when Tamlin freaks out and she puts the wall up.
that too.
Okay.
But Gavriel and even Rowan put like ward bubbles around
Mm,
them.
I have no memory of that either. Jesus
Mhm.
fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even I mean, yeah, Lorcan can do it too. Because he does it with Irene when Aelin is burning up all of the swampland or the marshland or whatever, and she's just fucking flame throwing the shit like crazy.
Mhm.
Lorcan like throws out a shield over Irene. No, over
Hmm.
Allied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not
Um,
Lorcan and Irene.
Yeah, and Gavriel uses a shield, and then Rowan uses a shield because when they're traveling after they kill the king and they're traveling to Terrasen,
Mhm.
it's and they're trying to like meet up with the other noblemen, the other lords and houses of
Yeah.
Terrasen. They're camping outside, and he puts a ward up
Oh.
around them, and she's like, it was the fire was the hard thing because I had to like keep it burning, but not like so hot, and we have this ward around
Oh
us, and
yeah,
blah, blah,
that's
blah,
right.
whatever else. So
Interesting. Okay. Um Also, but the pain pause thing was interesting to me because it's almost like now it could just be that Amarantha is like not powerful enough to like concentrate the magic on both people, and that's why it paused. Um, and so I guess her magic is also like I guess this is like what she's doing to Feyre is like kind of like a Crucio for the
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Like she's
Yeah.
just doing okay. So because I was wondering about that, but I think that's kind of what it is. So, but the pain pauses. I was like, that could be because she can't do two things at once. She's not a good magic multitasker. But also, it could just be that Rhys is in like mortal danger, and that maybe is like triggering her
Yeah.
mate
Could
bond,
be.
and like I don't know, that seemed like one of those things that is a little hint. Um, and Rhys, and this is the moment Rhys is like fully mask off. He's talons,
Mhm.
out, and he's like just throwing himself at Amarantha. So, I feel like this is that turning point where like he can't. It's the first moment where he's not going to play the bad guy anymore. Um,
Yeah.
Even though he still kind of plays it up a little bit, but everyone is watching him do this.
I didn't notice this. So she says, "You traitorous piece of filth." She seethes at Rhysand. "You're just as bad as these human beasts." One by one, as if a hand were shoving them in, his talons pushed back into his skin, leaving blood in their wake.
What is that? Is she doing that or is
I think
he
she's
doing that?
I think she's doing it because he swears low and vicious. And then she says, "You were planning this all along."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I also, and yeah, she just hits him again and again.
Yeah.
And
And then Feyre pleads for him.
yeah, Feyre is the one who saves him. Like maybe he would have died.
Yeah.
Uh um but she literally, yeah, I wrote pleading for Reese.
And then his eyes met mine. The
Mhm.
bond between us went taut. I flashed between my body and his, seeing myself through his eyes, bleeding and broken and sobbing. This is what happens with Aelin and Rowan. So
Mm.
when they get the amulet back from Arabin, they're fucking around with it or whatever, and she goes to hide it. So she goes into her closet and she pulls up the rug and she pulls up the floorboard because that's where she's going to hide this thing. And she puts it in the floorboard. And as she's kneeling down, Rowan is standing behind her, watching her do it. And she says, "Something is pulled," and she feels him. And she turns around, he's like, "What?" And she goes, "I felt you." And he goes, "What do you mean?" She's like, I was in you. I felt you. I felt your power." And she describes it as like feeling like she's in his body. And then that's also when she's like, "Holy fuck, how does he deal with that power? Because that was intense to feel that." And he's stuck in his like a in he's stuck in a place that doesn't have any magic. Like, how does he not
Mm.
get overwhelmed with the weight of that power?
Yeah, magical blue
But
balls.
yeah, but she says that like she goes into his body and can like see herself.
Mm. Also, that definitely speaks to mate bonds in that world being also dependent on word magic because that's not regular magic if she can do it while the world is like that. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I did not. Holy shit, I don't remember anything. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um I'm like embarrassed. I'm like I literally maybe I'll read these books for the first time again, I
Yeah,
guess.
pretty much. I'm not
I
gonna
thought I
lie,
had good reading comprehension.
some of it, well, but because we read it without knowing these connections.
Yeah, true.
And yeah, and so we weren't even looking at the connections. We were just like, "Oh, this is a different series altogether, whatever." But yeah, it's it is kind of like reading it for the first time again. It's kind of nice. Crescent City is gonna be like I've never read it before because I don't remember a fucking thing from Crescent City.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Um Holy shit. Oh. So she throws Reese back, and Feyre pleads for him.
Mhm.
And before Amarantha does, Reese's arms buckled as he fought to rise the blood drip from his nose, splat on the marble. His eyes met mine. The mating bond went taut, flashed between the body. And then Amarantha. So they lock eyes in the moment when she is pleading for him, and they're kind of probably both feeling that mate bond. Um, or maybe it's the eye contact that causes the mate bond, although that doesn't go with your theory because whatever. But I just thought it was interesting that like it's like before that moment, then Amarantha turns and she's like focused on him, and then I think this is when he says her name for the last time.
Mhm.
Um And, yeah, it's just that mate thing, oh, but the where is that line?
This is so valg right now.
Spider webbing? Where is that? Is that later?
It's on page 400.
Oh, wait.
The red marble splintered where he hit it, spider webbing towards me.
Okay, okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, then I misunderstood that. So, anyway, he is thrown back and hits the ground. And I mean, maybe it's nothing, but part of me was wondering if that was his magic that was reaching for her, and that's why it goes towards her, because it's kind of, I mean, maybe it's just, yeah, he was just thrown back with such force it literally did that. But there's something that was interesting to me about that. I guess that's all it was that it was just like a weird thing. Um
So Amarantha's attention is on Feyre right now, right?
yeah.
Because she's mocking Feyre. She goes, "Stop, stop! Don't pretend that you care, human."
Oh, yes.
And then she curls her fingers, and then Feyre's back arches. Her spine is straining. She hears Rhys say her name again, and then she loses grip on the room, which means like she's not in that room anymore, right? Her mind is elsewhere. And then the
Mhm.
most valgy of valg things happen.
Mhm.
Then
That's
then the memories began, a compilation of the worst moments of my life, a storybook of despair and darkness. The final page came, and I wept, not entirely feeling the agony of my body as I saw the young rabbit bleeding out in the forest clearing, my knife through her throat. My first kill, the first life I'd taken. I'd been starving, desperate, yet afterwards, once my family had devoured it, I crept into the woods and wept for hours, knowing a line had been crossed, my soul stained.
mhm.
This is how it's described when the Valg feed on Aelin, that all of her worst memories. And so
Mm.
Amarantha could have Valg in her. She's from Hybern. She's
Yeah.
not from there, right? Who knows what's going on in Hybern?
Well, and
And
Val could have infiltrated another,
but it
like,
could also explain why Hybern has such a hatred for humans and wants to take over the way that he does, and why she wants as much power as she does because she has Valg in her.
do Valg specifically hate humans, or they hate, like, all non-Valg? Like, because they do it to Fae and humans, right?
They
Or
do it
no?
to Fae and humans, yes, but I think that there's like the fact that the Fae and human rose up against them and that they
Okay.
lost something to the humans. That's why there's that vendetta.
Okay, okay.
But the Valg
Got it.
constantly like they're always like, human filth, puny human kind of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
they have
that would make
slightly more respect for the Fae just because of the threat that they pose, but they're always like humans are fucking useless.
yeah. I think also the memories thing, I was like, "Okay, is this supposed to be like a life flashes before your eyes type deal?" But I was like, usually, like, well, I'm thinking of, like, Bullet in the Brain, if you've read that short story, which is one of my all-time top favorite short stories, you must read it. Um, have you read that story?
Mm-mm.
Read it, it's so good. But in that story, the memories happen in the moment of death, like, in the instant moment.
Yeah.
And so I was just, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I think that is, it's like you have to feel like you're about to die or actually be in the moment is when the memories are supposed to happen, like, actually for real humans.
Hmm.
Um, or the last life flash before your eyes. So I was like, no, she's too coherent for this. She's too, like, she is close to death. She is feeling extreme amounts of pain, so maybe that's it. But the Valg thing is much more interesting. I think that's a way better fit.
I mean, unless this
Um,
is Rhys doing it to her, not knowing that that's what he's doing.
um I don't think he would send her bad memories,
I
but
don't think so either.
yeah.
Because Rhysand bellowed my name and I lost grip on the world, and then the bad memories start.
Oh, that's interesting. I love the idea that it's Amarantha though. Maybe even
Yeah.
Amarantha, they feed off of it, right? So maybe she's like,
Mhm.
I gotta get a little more magic. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they eat it. They eat their
yeah.
agony.
Because I was also wondering, like, why go back to the rabbit? That seems like a weird last memory. Um, and then that makes way more sense because it's a Valg forced memory, and that's why
Yeah,
you're ending on the rabbit. Because
yeah.
the other thing is that, okay, like,
Well,
it's one thing.
because she feels the same way, right? Her first rabbit kill where she's crossed the line, this is her
Mhm.
first
Human kill.
person
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah, but I also was like, those are not the same. Like, killing to eat to
Yeah.
survive, is kind of like extremely human.
But
Like, humans
yes.
been doing that for a long time.
Yes, but I also think it's, like, the soul-stained thing. I think that that could be why why this is the memory that comes up is because the first
Mhm.
time she felt like she'd crossed a line and that her soul was
Was that,
stained
yeah.
was when she killed the rabbit, and, like, the comparison to what the staining of her soul is now, she's like, "That
Mhm.
was just the first step to what I to this."
Yeah. But I don't know. I think there's kind of weird implications for saying that killing an animal to eat to survive stains your soul. Even
Yeah.
like it's not like most. I mean, I get like the guilt and like I would not want to slaughter. I don't want to slaughter a chicken or eat
Yeah.
it. Like no, like I'm good with being far enough away from my food sources. But there is something kind of mismatched about that. Like she she did kill those people to survive and to save everyone,
Mhm.
but also, like, that's not natural, that was forced upon her by this evil force, whereas the rabbit is the most natural, like,
Yeah.
form of killing that humans do, and so if we take it that far, like, it almost is an interesting commentary on, like, human nature, and I don't know. I was like, it seems a little mismatched
Mhm.
because now if it was, like, the first time she was cruel to someone, that
Yeah.
but, like, I don't know. Um, and anyway,
The path cleared through my red and black vision.
we can't skip over her one reason to live.
Is
Ta
Tamlin?
Tamlin's the only thing she has left is what she thinks.
Mhm.
Um, it's hilarious.
The only thing
Um,
I couldn't sacrifice, yeah.
yeah. And wait. Where does she say you don't deserve it? Okay, sorry. That was another one of my key points, actually.
On page 399, she
Ah,
says, "You think you're worthy of him, a high lord. You think you deserve anything at all, human."
so, because we
What?
always notice you're seeing it, huh? We
Mhm.
always notice these things about the order and the proximity, and there is something really interesting happening. And also, it makes it our like why is he yelling her name thing makes sense because Amarantha's like, okay, admit you don't really love him, and I'll spare you. Admit what a cowardly, lying, inconstant bit of human garbage you are. And then she says, I wouldn't say that even if she slapped me against the ground. I was being ripped apart. Then we hear Rhys scream her name, and she realizes, no, not someone, Rhys and. But Amarantha's still near. You think you're worthy of him, a high lord? You think you deserve anything at all? And then it responds with Rhysand yelled my name again. And so to me, it's like the way it's set up is like he's calling for her and she is responding to the fact that he's calling her name and saying, "You think you're worthy of him, a High Lord, Rhysand, the High Lord?" And then he calls her name as like again as a response, yes,
Mhm.
she is worthy.
It
And
gets it gets a little better though.
okay.
Because on page 400,
All right.
right, "What are you but mud and bones and worm meat?" Amarantha raged. "What are you? Compared to our kind, do you think you're worthy of us?" Even she I mean, but, like, that question, I'm like, I get it, like, "What are you? You're
Mhm.
fucking nothing," but she literally says, "What are you?"
Yeah.
Good question, Amy, good question, what the fuck
Shit.
is she? She
Yeah.
about to be Faye.
Yeah. Although, I mean, she's worthy of him as a human too, but yes. Um, yeah, it is very interesting. But anyway, so I just had to note that because um that is such a classic moment. But
Yeah,
so jumping back to she's like the only thing I have left is Tamlin, the only thing I
mhm,
couldn't sacrifice. And then yes, a path cleared through my red and black vision. Is this just like blood blood
yeah,
and
blood and darkness,
all right.
blood and yeah, because I lost
It's
grip
like
on the
so
world,
weird
it's
about
yeah.
that description.
I
Uh
do make a note where it says, like, he crawled towards Amarantha because in the next book, she's like, "He didn't do anything, he didn't even crawl to her," and you're like, "He did, but okie
well, he crawled
dokie."
towards Amarantha,
That's what she
his
says, though, that
mate.
he didn't try to save me, he didn't do anything, he didn't even crawl to her, and it specifically says he crawled to her, so there's some questions about we'll just make a note of that when we get it in the next book.
Feyre says that? Feyre says he
Mhm.
didn't, but is crawling to Amarantha the same as calling to Feyre?
I don't know.
So,
I
I
don't
mean,
remember the quote specifically, but I know that that's a point of, like, the unreliable narration of the ways in
Yes.
which Feyre remembers things, because it says, right, he crawled towards Amarantha watching me die, unable to save me while his own wound slowly healed while she still gripped his power. And so in the next book, when she's bitching about this and she's like reeling against Tamlin, she's like, he didn't
Mm.
fucking do anything. And you're like, he did, babe.
Yeah.
What?
Or
And
maybe
so then
she's
it
talking
becomes,
about him silent under the mountain
could be.
all the other times.
Yeah.
And
But he
but
does beg.
crawl theory, he does crawl towards Amarantha, his
Yeah.
mate.
Yep. And he's begging her to stop. I'm sorry for what I said about Clythia all those years ago, please. And then Amarantha ignores him. Tamlin's eyes were so green, green like that meadow of his estate, a shade that washed away the memories flooding through me and pushed aside all the evil. So that's interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, the color green, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, she does think that she loves him. So, like, seeing his eyes, I can see, like, it coming back and, like, her being like, this is what I'm fighting for.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's kind of the only moment we see like a lot
but
of
she immediately
like
screams again because her kneecaps are then busted. So, it doesn't
yeah.
last very long.
It makes you wonder about the symbolism of the color green and like what
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't really have anything for that because we don't see a lot. We see green and gold, but not just specifically green.
Yeah.
Um,
But she's remembering the moment that she'd known true happiness, even while she's being, cracked into two.
yes, she's conjuring that Patronus. Uh,
Yes.
sorry, I don't know why. Why am I still on Harry Potter today? It's weird. Okay. Yeah, then she's solving the riddle,
Hmm.
little bit by bit. I think it's pretty nicely paced. I will also
Yeah.
say the ending to this chapter is one of those things. I think one of the reasons it's so iconic is because there's that slight rhyme, and I think that's such an interesting, great choice for a when you want to have a moment that sings just a little slight rhyme like that. It just hits. I feel like, and I'm just
What's
like
the rhyme?
Tamlin's eyes went wide before something forever cracked in my spine.
Oh, yeah.
As I stuttered through the whole thing. But the
Yeah.
wide and spine is like such a
Yeah.
subtle, but it like really
Hmm.
punctuates the end of the chapter in a really interesting way. And I think that is the most iconic chapter, and definitely in this book, a chapter
Hmm.
ending. But maybe in all the series. Like honestly, it's one of those things I always think back to is the cracked forever in my spine line.
Hmm.
Um, but that's just me being a little bit of a writing nerd because some strategic rhyme in a fiction book is very interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe it was even unintentional. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of this is just Amarantha being like, say it, say it, say it,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I didn't really have much about that. She solves the riddle, and then the world crumbles into a blackness with no end. Um,
I do find it weird that she's still able to hurt her even after the riddle is broken. But
I
again, her
was wondering that too.
safety, I guess her safety isn't part of the bargain. So,
Or maybe, like, actually, maybe it was because Amarantha's magic was holding her body so taut that when it entered, it was like maybe her spine was already broken and she just,
felt it.
yeah. Um,
So she's
the
dead
la-
at this point.
yes, the last thing we see of Rhys is just his bellowing her name, right? That's the last time
Yeah.
we hear about Rhys. Okay, yeah, and now she's dead, however temporarily.
Hmm. So into chapter 45,
Yes,
she's fully in the drop.
she
She's
is. Yeah.
dropping. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was far away, but still seeing through eyes that weren't mine, eyes attached to a person who slowly rose from his position on a cracked, bloodied floor. And so she's hanging on to that mate bond. She's hanging on to
Mhm.
Rhys.
Yeah. And I think doesn't it say he kind of was, like, holding on to her?
Yeah.
Like, she might have slipped away, but he was like, "Hell no."
Yeah.
I also think it was interesting that the first thing is so Reese rises, Amarantha's face slackened, and then we see Lucien moving and taking off the mask.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a I don't know why that I get the mask, like, the sort of the symbolism, I guess, or, like, it's how you know that the curse is actually broken is that their masks are free. But there is something so like slow. Like I feel like this scene, I don't know. I'm surprised there's a moment before Tamlin kills
Yeah.
Amarantha. I don't know. What do you think?
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't
Yeah.
make note of it. But it is interesting that Rhys is the one who notices Lucien because she's seeing through Rhys's
Oh
eyes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And also because we've been talking so much about Lucian in this book that like it really feels like he has an interesting role, and I don't know, at least symbolically has this interesting role of being like this reveal, plus his assist later. Um, but yeah, my host is looking at Tamlin now, who slowly faced my dead body. Um, I like how Amarantha begs for her life.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Tamlin's still masked
What does she
face
think?
twisted into something truly lupine, truly wolfish,
Mm-hmm.
and his fangs lengthen.
Yeah.
And then she backs away from her corpse. She is dead, right? She begs for her life.
And then he throws her against the wall,
Okay, so
catches her as she hits it.
yes, he shifts into his beast form first,
Mm-hmm.
and then he throws her into the wall, grips her by the neck, and the stones crack as he shoves her against with his clawed paw. She thrashes but could do nothing against his brutal onslaught of Tamlin's beast. Blood runs down his furred arm for where she scratches.
Mm-hmm.
I underlined this. The ACOTAR and the guards rush for the queen, but several fairies in high fae, their masks clattering to the ground, jump into the path, tackling them. So yay.
Mm-hmm.
Amarantha screeches, kicking Tamlin, thrashing at him with her dark power, her
Yes.
dark magic. But a wall of gold encompasses his fur like a second skin. And I said, like Gavriel's shield.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a wall of gold encompasses his fur. A wall of gold? Like
Mhm.
fire?
Maybe?
Green and gold. His eyes are green. He's encompassed in gold. I'm just saying, it's very Tierson. It's
It is.
very,
No, it
it's
really is.
yeah. But yeah, I said like the shields in Throne of Glass, like Gavriel's shield, this like gold encompassing him.
Yeah.
Um,
I also thought it was interesting. She was like, "Oh, blood was." I think it's just that her magic couldn't touch him, but she
yeah.
does draw blood. I guess when she's scratching
Well,
at his
she's
arm.
kicking it, yeah, and like, well, so I think she's kicking and scratching, and the blood is around him, like on his arms before he drops the shield,
Okay.
before the wall of gold encompasses him.
Okay.
But
And then
that could
yeah,
also be a really interesting way that like he has his full power now. So not only does he have a beast form, but now he can encompass himself in a wall of gold that's impenetrable. Like
yeah,
impenetrable. Sorry, that was a
yeah.
weird way to say that. So like we're seeing some of Tamlin's magic that we haven't been able to see before. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Why do you
Luge,
think? Yeah.
go ahead.
Why do you think they need a sword to kill her? Why is that a thing? Why doesn't he just eat her face? Like, why doesn't he just rip her, throw it out? I forgot that they even stab her in the first place. It makes it seem like she's some kind of specific being that needs to be killed with a steel sword or something. Um, you know?
Like maybe with a okay. The sword shot through the air a shooting star of steel.
Yes, the shooting
You
star
would
line. Sorry, that's what I should have
We
started me
also
first.
know another blade that
Yes,
is Starborn blade.
and Lucian would have ties to the Autumn Court, which is in Crescent City. So maybe it's not like necessarily like what is it? The it's not like the sword. It's not like Bryce's sword, or Danica's sword, and it's not Azriel's. But maybe it is like a thing like that.
It's Rune's sword that is the Starborn sword.
Rune.
Because when Bryce shows that she's Starborn, he gives her the sword, right? But that's his Starborn sword. That's the one that he carries all the time. And it's the
What's the sword
mate.
that Danica was
It's
hiding in the first scene?
I don't remember.
I think that's the one.
No, but Rune's sword that he carries on his back all the time is the Starborn sword. It's like his sword. It's when he did his drop and he did his bullshit and he found out that he was Starborn, that he has the Starborn sword, and that's the sword that is the mate to Truth Teller.
Okay, he has Gwydion.
Yes. Which is the sword mate to Truth Teller. That is Asriel's dagger.
Okay. Oh, she just has a different sword.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
it's an heirloom. It's one that her mom wants.
I thought that was the Starborn sword. Okay. Okay.
No, really it's
All right.
Starborn, and it's the mate to Asriel's dagger.
Yes. Yes. So that's the thing is that we know, like, I mean, maybe it's just a random description. This is like, what, 5 years before Crescent City comes out. This is like, maybe it's nothing. But I will say, if anyone's going to have a Starborn thing, I already have theories about Lucien being Starborn. He's Autumn Court, which ties directly Crescent City. Maybe this is not obviously a mate to Asriel and Gwydion, those swords, but maybe it's a Truth Teller and Gwydion, but maybe it's something similar.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, why do we need to kill her with a sword?
Yeah.
That seems very interesting. Did you have any thoughts about that or no?
I don't think they need to kill her with a sword, but I think that they're all just scrambling here at anything that will kill her, even if Tamlin could do it himself.
Because yeah, wouldn't he find it more satisfying to just like rip her apart?
I mean, he does still. He rips her throat out even after he
Yeah,
stabs her in the head, which
yeah.
is fucking gnarly, by the way.
That's why I'm like, maybe he thought a throat wouldn't do it or something. I don't know. To be
You
killed
know,
with
to
a
kill a valg, you have to cut their head off.
right, and so he's not doing that though,
Nobody is
but he's
destroying the
kind of
brain.
doing a form of that. Okay, I can't find shit on steel after a quick Google, but it's okay. So yeah, Lucian throws him a sword. He
Hmm.
catches it, and he drives it through her head into
And
the
into the
stone,
stone.
and then
Hmm.
rips her throat out. And then silence fell.
And then she realizes that she's seeing through Rhysand's eyes,
Yeah,
and he doesn't come any closer to her corpse, not with Tamlin coming.
and then Tamlin transforms back and is kneeling at
Hmm.
her.
And then she says, I wanted to get back to Tamlin. I wanted to touch him, to beg him for forgiveness for what I've done, for the other bodies on the floor, but I was so far away.
Yeah. It is interesting that the first instinct is to beg forgiveness. I mean, yeah, well, I guess it's because
But
she killed
she's
Sam.
trying to pull herself by that mate bond still, again, trying to
Hmm.
pull
Yeah,
herself up, come back, right?
yeah.
And then this is super interesting. Someone appeared. So Lucien, it says no. Someone breathed. Lucien, his sword dangling from his hands. Indeed, there are many high fae. Blah blah blah. So Lucien's there next to him, like they're close enough to hear
Hmm.
him. Someone appears beside Lucien, a tall, handsome, brown-haired man with a face similar to his own, which is very questionable. Lucien didn't look at his father, though he stiffened as the High Lord of Autumn Court approached Tamlin and extended a clenched hand to him. Baron is the first one to offer.
We talked about this before, but I've realized since talking about it because I was thinking about it more. Rhys made them all. He says in Miss and Fury that he went into their minds and made them all do it. So maybe he
Does
started with
he?
Baron because he goes, that bitch is gonna be the hardest one.
Maybe.
And he's like, so
I didn't realize that he said that he made them all.
yeah, he made them all.
Damn. Okay. Okay, so Tamlin glanced up only when the High Lord opened his fingers and tipped over his hand. A glittering spark fell upon me. It flared and vanished as it touched my chest. Two more figures approached, both handsome and young, though through my host's eyes, I knew them instantly. The brown-skinned one on the left wore a tunic of blue and green, and atop his white blonde head was a garland of roses, the High Court of Summer Court. His pale-skinned companion, clad in colors of white and gray, possessed the crown of shimmering ice, the High Lord of Winter Court. Chins raised, shoulders back, they too dropped those glittering kernels upon me, and Tamlin bowed his head in gratitude. Another High Lord approached, both bestowing upon me a drop of light. He glowed brightest of all of them, and from his gold and ruby
Raymond.
raiment,
Yeah.
I knew him as the High Lord of the Dawn Court. Then the High Lord of Day Court, clad in white and gold, his dark skin gleaming with an inner light, presented a similar gift and smiled sadly at Tamlin before he walked away. Rhysand stepped forward, bringing my shred of soul with him, and I found Tamlin staring at us. For what she gave, Rhysand said, extending a hand, will bestow what our predecessors have granted to few before. And I said, few? Who? He paused. This makes us even, he added.
Yeah.
Now
Such
we
a
go
Rhys
to it.
and classic.
Now we go to a different book.
Okay.
In Kingdom of Ash, we are. So we're at the point where Aelin and Dorian are trying to forge the lock and open up the gate to send the gods back to their own world, and they're supposed to take Arwen with them. Okay. Dorian's been shoved away. The King of Adarlan takes his place. Then Aelin makes a bargain and says, "Give me Elena, like let Elena go into the afterworld, and I'll take care of Arwen." And then the gods kill Elena and just have her be nothing, because Nameless is also her price apparently. So she is not in the afterlife. She doesn't exist at all. And then they also say we're not taking Arwen, so they've betrayed them as well. So she is there. So one by one, the gods strode away through. The gods strode through the archway into their own world. Some sneered down at her as they passed. They would not take Arwen. Would not do anything. Her chest was hollow. Her soul gutted out. And yet this. And yet this. Blah 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 blah. As if she remembered Elena and Brannon and who knelt before her, blood of her blood, the recipient of her power, her heir. So she's saying that Mala sees her, right? Seal the gate, Firebringer, Mala says softly. But the Lady of Light still hesitated. From far away, Aelin heard another woman's voice. Make sure that they're punished someday, every last one of them. They will be, she'd sworn to Kaltain. They had lied, had betrayed Elena and Aralea, and as they believed themselves betrayed. Their green, sun-drenched world rippled away ahead. Groaning, Aelin climbed to her feet. She was no lamb to slaughter, no sacrifice on an altar of the greater good, and she was not done yet. Aelin met Mala's burning stare. Do it, Mala said quietly. Aelin looked past her towards the pristine world they had sought to return to for so long, and realized that Mala knew, saw the thoughts in her own head. Aren't you going to stop me? Mala held out a hand. In it lay a kernel of white-hot power, a fallen star. Take it, one last gift of my bloodline. She could have sworn Mala smiled. For what you offered on her behalf, for fighting for her, for all of them. Aelin staggered a few steps to the goddess, the power she offered in her hand. I remember, Mala said softly, and her words were joy and pain and love. I remember. Aelin took the kernel of power from her palm. It was like a sunrise contained in a seed. When it's done, seal the gate and think of home. The marks will guide you. And then she sends them to the gods began shouting, running, so she's Aelin approached the archway to the gods' realm, to where Mala now walked across the shimmering grass, little more than a shaft of sunlight herself. The Lady of Light halted and lifted her arms in farewell. Aelin smiled and bowed. Far out, striding over the hills, the gods paused. Aelin smiled, turned into a grin, wicked and raging. It did not falter as she found the world she sought, as she dipped into the eternal, terrible power. She had been a slave and a pawn once before, and she would never be so again. Not for them, never for them. The gods began shouting, running towards her, as Aelin ripped open a hole in their sky, right into the world she had once seen, and had accidentally opened a portal into one night in a stone castle. Distant baying howls cracked from the bleak gray expanse. A portal into the hell realm, a door now thrown open. Aelin was still smiling when she closed the archway to the gods' world and left them in it, the sound of their outrage, frightening screams ringing out.
And you've long theorized that world that she's talking about is Prythian?
That their perfect world?
Yeah, the one she saw in Crown of Midnight.
No, that's the hell realm. She says a portal to a hell realm.
Oh, okay.
I think the realm, because remember, one of the realms in hell is the ravine. When she goes in there, she cracks open a ravine. And that's what separates her from whatever fucking demon bullshit was, all those demons that were coming her way from that realm.
Oh, okay.
And so I think she made the ravine that level of hell. It's called, is that realm of hell is called. it is questionable that their perfect world is of sunlight and grass, but whatever. I mean, I guess that could be any place. But
Yeah.
no, but like that, right? It's a kernel of white hot power, a fallen star. That's what this looks like. That they all give a small drop of their power.
Yeah.
Or that they also offer her first light.
Yeah. Although, can it be first light if they've already used magic?
Yeah.
Or
If they've never given away their magic, they would still have it.
oh, is that what it is? Because does Bryce do magic? Am I insane?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's Crescent City. But like, think about it. If she's making the drop, right?
Yeah.
Then she has to give away part of her magic. That's what the drop takes is the first light, right? And then whatever's left is they pull themselves up.
So, do you think you can make a drop not in Crescent City? Like, do you think it only because part of me is like, is that just because the Asteri are in that world, or is that like a Fae thing, or bull? You
I mean,
know,
it sounds a lot like the settling.
it really does. Settling is also different than the drop.
Yeah, so the settling is what would naturally happen to all those Fae in Crescent City if they weren't forced to make the drop and give away their first light.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so the Fae in ACOTAR have never given away any of their magic, right? Because they don't live under Asteri rule. And so maybe that's what they have to give away is some
So
of their
maybe
light.
Feyre is Asteri.
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
No, I don't think she's Asteri, but that's funny because that's who you give your first light to.
Yes, but I think that this like transfer of
Yeah.
magic, I don't think it has to be a one-to-one comparison, but I think that this
Yeah.
like this fall, this changing, this gaining immortality feels like the drop,
Yeah,
and
for
that
sure.
a magic transfer is necessary for the
Hmm.
drop to work.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's at least necessary to bring her back to life.
Definitely that according to the lore in this book, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love you and the last drop and then she gonna wake up Faye.
I haven't read the last chapter, so I'm so excited to read it for next week. But um
No.
yeah, this makes us even, is what Rhys says. And then his hand, so Tamlin tenderly brushed aside my matted hair. His hand glowed bright as the rising sun, and in the center of his palm, that strange, shining bud formed. I love you, he whispered and kissed me as he laid his hand on my heart.
Yeah. What a set of chapters.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
There's so many overlaps. Our
yeah.
listeners are either going to be like really excited about our craziness or be like, oh my God, just stick to one book.
Or go read the other book so you remember what you're fucking talking
Yeah,
about.
right. They're like screaming at us, like, that's not how it went.
It's insane.
Yeah. I really need her to put out a release date already.
Seriously,
I
like
need this.
it's
So I am hopeful because, like, with Throne of Glass, I feel like it's beautifully written and it wraps up beautifully, that I really have high hopes for the ways in which everything will end. Um, but I just, at this point, I'm like, fuck, let's just go. And like, even if we are still recording after both series are done, like it'll still be fun to like talk about those connections and talk about where we saw it or didn't see it or whatever.
well, yeah.
And there'll be less theorizing, I guess, but it will be fun to make
Oh,
notes of all
yeah, I
those
still think it's
places.
like yeah, yeah.
But I need her to put another book out. I need it yesterday.
So I don't think she's gonna finish this. I think she has 7 more books in her contract,
Mhm.
unless she's starting a new series. I think that's gonna be
Well,
Crescent
I
City.
think that
So I think all theories will be fair game for a while.
yeah, because I think there's alleged to be two more. So in the seven, right, be two more ACOTAR books.
Okay.
So then that leaves five. Crescent City has at least three more, as if we're like going on kind of how she puts. But who knows? Maybe she's gonna drag it out for a five more books for maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm. Who friggin' knows?
That's crazy. I'm just excited to see who pops up in the next book. I'm excited to see Lucien on that page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where the Tamlin and prison imagery really starts to hit. You're like,
I'm excited to finally like Elaine. I need it. We all need to finally like Elaine.
yeah.
I'm really excited to see her seer powers. I want to see all those fucked up. I want to just deep dive into all of those bullshit visions that she's gonna have that we're not gonna
Oh,
know
I thought
shit
you were talking
about.
about book Miss and Fury because we're about to start that. But also that,
Oh, I'm
like
here
when
for
we
that
were talking
too.
about Lucien. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited for the next book
Yeah.
in all senses of the word.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we will finish. We will be done with ACOTAR. And then the week after that we'll jump into
Miss and
Mr.
Fury.
Fury. I think
Well,
it's my favorite of the series.
it's definitely my favorite of the series.
Hmm.
Oh, you mean like yeah? A lot of people put Stellar Flames second, and you're a Nesta girly, but
I am a Nesta girly.
I think Miss and Fury is the best one. I think it's
It
her
is.
best book overall.
You think what?
I think it's her best book overall. Even better than Kino of Ash.
Yep. Yep.
So
I'll give you
yeah,
that.
yeah. Even though Kino of Ash is good, but it's just good in a different way.
Yep.
But yeah. So next week, the last chapter.
And to the stars who listen, we will see you then.